It's Monday, March 9th, 2015. I'd like to make a few comments on what's going on in the Iraqi and the Syrian-held territory by ISIL. ISIL is beginning to crack from the inside, and they're in the process of cracking from the outside. Let's just say that the end is approaching for them. As I have said for the last several months, that ISIL is landlocked. They're not going anywhere. We know who their leaders are. They're stuck. There's no ports. Maybe they can get in a drone and go somewhere. But just about everything we see what's going on over there right now. A couple of reasons why they're in trouble. Number one, they have a lot of internal divisions going on right now. One of the things that ISIL promises people when they get them, especially when we hear about, let's say, the three girls, the young girls from England, 15 and 16 years old, that maybe made it over there last week or 2 weeks ago, is that they're promised a lot of stuff. And for the men that they bring over, they promise them, an apartment, they promise them money, and apparently they promise them the women that they capture first dibs, as opposed to the natives of the country. So if you're an ISIL fighter from Syria or Iraq, you get second dibs. You don't get first dibs. And it's very, very tragic, the whole thing. But there is disagreement within them. There was a report out of the Washington Post today that talked about how there was actually a gun battle between a Kuwaiti commander for ISIL and the locals there in Syria, and that there was some other fighting that went on in between some Chechens who were with ISIL and with the locals somewhere in Iraq. And ISIL, if they catch you running away, they're going to kill you. They're going to slaughter. I mean, they're going to slaughter you, and they'll probably do it publicly in front of all the other people that are there to let everyone know exactly what's going on. And a number of people have gotten out, and so now they have to keep track of everyone so that they can monitor them to make sure that they don't get close to the Turkish border, or they have to have permission to go anywhere they want to go. And as I said, there's cracks between those who are native to Iraq and Syria and those who are coming in from other countries. And they are also starting to lose territory. They've been losing a little bit of territory here and there. Mostly they've lost it to the Kurds. They don't necessarily mind losing it to the Kurds right now. They want to keep their stronghold. But remember, the Iraqi army is heading up towards Tikrit. They're working with Iraqi militiamen who are mostly Shiites, and they're working with Iraqi tribesmen who are mostly Sunni. And then on the northern end of it, they are working. The Kurds are working with them also. Of course, it'll be a very, very difficult thing. It's not going to happen overnight. They depending upon they haven't really started the fight. They're approaching the fight, and of course, they'll probably delay it also. But the ISIL needs about 5,000 new recruits every month, because every now and then we get a report from the Department of Defense that basically says, well, we killed 6,000 of them last month. So they're getting about 5,000. They promise them a lot of stuff. They promise them $800 a month. They promise them a hotel. They promise them a place to stay. The article in the Washington Post even indicated that some of these people are coming and they just sort of like the fact that they're in the caliphate. They don't want to do any fighting at all. They're just glad that they're there. They're part of that whole scene. And also, the United States is working very diligently with our partners in terms of Western European partners and our partners on the ground, so to speak, with Saudi Arabia, with Iran, with Iraq. Yes, we are working with Iraq because, remember, the Sunni militiamen, the Shiite militiamen who are going to go after to help liberate Mosul are Shia. And they are being commanded by, led by, and trained by Iranians, who are also Shia. So there's a lot of dynamics going on. There's a lot of money that's being pumped into ISIL from a lot of different places around the Middle East. And what's the funniest thing? Whenever I see pictures of ISIL, they always seem to be driving those big Toyota Tundra trucks. And it seems as if the pictures that I see are always nice and shiny. Maybe they get some of their recruits to shine them up for them. But that's really not funny. It's just an observation on my part. The sooner we can get them out, the better, obviously. But to hear the fact that there's disarray on the internal end, that there's fighting in between those who are native to Iraq and Syria and those who are coming in from other areas, and the fact that supposedly the people who are coming in from the other areas are getting more money. They're getting first dibs on the women. And that they're saying that they're trying to make the ones who are native to Syria and to Iran to be the ones who go to the front lines the most, or the first. So those are some of the cracks. And again, the United States is working diligently with all of its partners in Western Europe, all through the Middle East, to try and get this thing taken care of as soon as possible. Obama said probably last June or July that it said it would not going to happen in a year. It'd probably be 2 or 3 years to get it all down. And the bigger thing about all of this is what's going to happen after ISIL is out of the way. How did ISIL even get in the way? They got in the way because there was a political vacuum. So the United States has to make sure that Iraq, Syria, whatever areas that they're going to take, that they're going to be able to govern. They're going to be able to have administrators in. They're going to have to bring people in for medical. They're going to have to bring in engineers to make sure that the water's running, the electric is running, that the roads are running right. They're going to have to bring in policemen. So all of these things have to happen, because if they're not going to happen, then there's going to be a vacuum again, and another ISIL is going to spring up. And that's what's going to happen. So I know that my friends like Billy always are talking about the savages, and yes, they are savages, but we have to have a way that when we go in to root them out, that we have a way with our partners to govern those areas and to govern them effectively and very, very quickly. Or what will happen is that it will go to hell, and then another ISIL will spring up in the meantime. We will never be able to stop the individual terrorists but we can stop that organization of ISIL from continuing to take any land in the Middle East. And we need to do that. We need to do that right away. We need to work with our partners on it. But it does appear, actually, I wanted to bring in one other point. I remember like 6 or 8 months ago, there was talk that they were going to break the Mosul Dam, the dam at Mosul. And that didn't happen because they went and supposedly, I guess it was Iraq, was able to liberate the dam, and they could still use the dam. Maybe ISIL saw the need, the fact that they couldn't run it, and they needed the electricity from it for Mosul. I don't know, but there have been victories all the way along. The ISIL really has not had a victory since last June or July. They've taken over very nominal amount of territory. They've lost territory to the Peshmerga and the Kurds. Iraq is gearing up to go back into Mosul, and they're doing it with Shiite Iraqis who are trained by Iranians, with Sunni Iraqi tribesmen and the Iraqi army. With help from the United States. I believe that Saudi Arabia has also had fighter pilots in the area bombing them. So this is a multi-country effort, and let's hope that this really, really is the beginning of the end of ISIL starting today.